like to acknowledge some of the folks that actually helped in building this road. First of all, I would like to give a special thanks to my project manager, David Wu. Lehman had a great construction manager in Rodney Construction, and Mark Burks is here. I see a familiar face in the project. To his right is David Currington, an engineer. Rodney's contractor was Toro Enterprises, and Tom Gibson is here. Our contractor was H&H Construction, and Rick Gerbedian is here. And we have the sheriff. The department is represented here with Glenn Brandon. I want to give a special thanks to LA County Fire. Without them, this road would not have started. And Gerald Cozy was instrumental in that. I know he's not here, but Mark Collette is here. And I want to thank the fire department for believing in us that this thing would actually get done. The two developers that actually helped fund this project I want to give a special thanks to Lehman Brothers. Mike Masterson is here. The current owner of Anaverde is an outfit by the name of Fairlawn Capital. They're out of San Francisco. They couldn't make it here today, but they were certainly instrumental in making this project happen. I'm sure I forgot some folks' names, and I'll apologize in advance for that. Let me tell you a little bit about the project. This project involved in total about 3 miles of construction and improvement of roadway. It involved the construction of a regional drainage structure that conveys the Anaverde Creek, and it involves a lot of undergrounding of utilities as well. And you know, this project is constructed on both the Anaverde property as well as the Ritter Ranch property. In total, about $13 million was spent on this project, 5 of which coming from the city and 8 of which coming from Lehman Brothers. Wow. This project took, I don't know, maybe 6-8 months of construction, but it probably took a good 5 years of negotiating between all of us in getting to the point where it got funded. And you know, I want to, what makes this project so special for me is that it's one of those cases, and I hate to say it, maybe rare occasion, where a number of different people from different backgrounds actually came together. We all gave a little to get this project done. We had to compromise, but we all saw, you know, the bigger picture, and that was getting something actually built. And I do want to really thank the two developers. You know, they did come together, and again, we compromised and we got something built, and that's a good thing. And it goes to show what can happen when we sit down and we actually work together. So, I'm going to give the mic here to Fred Thompson. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. It's a windy day, but at the same time, you know, it's a very typical day in the Antelope Valley, so we know how to deal with that. I'm really excited, too, about this, because I recall, you know, when I was on the Planning Commission, seeing this thing kind of work its way through, and it's so wonderful to see that it has finally come to fruition. So this is great. As Mike noted, it's been a long time coming. The most important thing to me is that this is a project that makes our community safer. There is now great access for emergency response vehicles, right? Okay. And personnel to our residents of Anaverde, which is a second means of access in and out of this area. So that's very important, and that was your main thrust. So it's coming around. and it's happening. We know from recent experience, such as the Crown fire disaster, how important this is. And on a positive financial note, this road was built with no general fund money, as Mike pointed out. The funds for the city's portion came from an underlying surety bond company, and the funds from the Lehman portion came from CFED, which of course is Community Fund Distribution. And at this time, I'm going to, speaking of finances, Roxanne, I'm going to ask you to come to the podium, because it's widely known that women are smarter than men when it comes to mathematics. So, really? Ask her to come up here.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Fred. I didn't know you were quite the comedian.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely want to come here and speak on this exciting day. Now, with the completion of this road, we now have a road towards economic growth in the housing sector, and that's really something to be excited about. It means that both the second phase of Anaverde and the first phase of Ritter Ranch are one step closer to being realized. In fact, 2 of our Southern California's premier home builders are now active in the Anaverde development, namely KB Homes, who are selling homes again here, and Richmond America, who are processing building plans through the city right now. New building activity in this area means more homeowners, which provides for a more stable HOA in the Anaverde development. It's also good news for current homeowners, because the new construction will mean that new comparative sales will be established in the area, which increases appraised values. So that's something very exciting for the community we have there now. And in Palmdale, all new homes are built with the most up-to-date efficiencies in energy conservation and water usage. So that's really exciting for our community. Solar power is standard on all KB homes, and all front yard landscaping on all new homes in accordance with our city's water conservation ordinances. Now feature attractive xeriscaping to reduce the amount of water used outdoors. So this is something that we've all wanted, as something that's very important, and we should all make note of and be excited about. This is especially important given the current drought and the mandates by the Governor Brown to reduce water use. I mentioned that KB Homes was one of the builders currently in the area, and we have with us today KB Homes President Tom DePrima to share with us a little bit about what they've got in store for us. Tom?
Thank you. First and foremost, I want to really thank the city for making this happen. This has been a long undertaking, and it's been a lot of work, but you know, Mike Michel is a pretty humble guy, and he's someone that probably has not gotten enough credit for making this happen. I can't tell you how many meetings I've had with Mike, and Mike has gotten to the point where he sees my cell phone, he doesn't answer. But it really could not have happened. When you had to take 3 existing landowners and 2 future land developers and put them all together and create a partnership and try to make this work. And as Mike said, it took give and take from everybody. Especially, I'd like to thank Lehman, who really stepped up and made this. They were kind of the final push to make this happen, and it couldn't happen without them. But I can't tell you how many countless hours and time Mike has spent, whether it was negotiating on behalf of the Homeowners Association, talking with the fire department, going back with all the developers to make this happen. And because of this happening, it's actually given KB Home an opportunity to not just finish out the projects we have, but we recently acquired more property out here and are going to be able to expand our holdings. I'm really excited to see housing come back into the city of Palmdale, where we need new homes. As mentioned, the new homes being built out here, if you were to take the statistics and look at a home built as early as the late 90s and look at the homes being built today, they're using about half the water of what the older homes are. KB Home, we've taken a standard a few years ago. We've started putting in all water sense fixtures into all our homes.
The savings on these houses are anywhere between 40 to 60,000 gallons of water between the landscaping and the new fixtures. Think about that. That's about 10 swimming pools of water that's saved every year. And from an energy efficiency, these homes are all built to Energy Star, so they're all being built 15% beyond the minimum requirements today. And then when you add in solar on top of it, you're reducing an energy bill down from nearly $300 for an older resale home to about $64. So it's a tremendous savings, making home ownership not just obtainable but maintainable, and that's the key for us. As we saw in the downturn, a lot of people couldn't afford to stay in their homes, and so we're really focused on not just making the ability to get into a home, but be able to stay there once you get it. Our highly successful Crestview community is now going to be expanding and going on. We recently purchased 85 more home sites, so we're going to be continuing that on. We're going to actually be adding a model to that complex. And then our Hacienda community, which just recently opened, has been very, very well received. And I think the important thing here is there's always been concern about making sure that we get that homeowners association fully funded, get all our reserves, and have the ability to keep this phenomenal community going, not just for the existing residents, but for the future. So I'm very, very excited about what's happening out here and seeing this finally come to fruition and happen. But Mike, we really couldn't have done this without you. I want to thank you for giving us a stellar day with no wind. I called Mike and said, "You'll make no wind too." And he goes, "Yeah, Tom, thanks for calling." But really, in all joking aside, it would not have been done without Mike's leadership. I also want to thank Mayor Ledford, who we went to very early in the process and said, "How do we make this happen?" He did the greatest thing a leader can do. He picked the right person to put in charge and drive this, and Mike drove this every day. So Mike, thank you so much for your leadership. Thank you to the City Council, the Planning Commission, and everybody involved that really made this a great day and brought housing back to the City of Palmdale. Thank you all.
So without further ado, let's gather for our ribbon cutting and line up some cars for our car ceremony.